All right, guys, welcome to today's vlog. It's Independence Day in Kenya. Independence Day in Kenya on 12th of December 2025. So welcome. I hope you're fine, guys. There's a lot in air, but our time is limited. So I come here for 1 hour again to do a vlog, or rather a reaction towards the political environment in Kenya. Now, guys, I've been asking a lot of questions surrounding these people, including Uhuru Kenyatta. I've also been asking about MUNYA, Matiang'I, and that is Mike Sonko. Mike Sonko used to be the governor of Nairobi, and then he was dropped. Now remember, he was with the government and he was dropped later because he seemed to be opposing the government. But I hope you recall the time when his assets were freezed in a case that was not quite clear, and later on the case was dropped. And of course, as we know in Kenya, once you begin opposing so much of the government, then you don't have good terms at all. However, later on, Mike Sonko began to kind of support the government, and of course, his terms were kind of achievable. Now, when you look at Matiang'I also, even though he seems to be in the opposition, you remember recently when the opposition stood up against the government, Matiang'I didn't show up in the presence of the rest of them. And I'll be showing you a video just in a while. When you look at MUNYA, we are not seeing MUNYA actually coming up politically to be strong at any point. All we can see is that he is appearing when not really needed. Now, like we realized that recently we had a picture of Matiang'I taking a picture with Peter and other old boys, something that was not standing out for Matiang'I as the opposition leader as we expected. So, of course, this now raises a lot of questions about Matiang'I, Peter Munya, and Mike Sonko. You realize that beginning, or rather registering a party in Kenya has become something very tasky, very difficult. However, when you come to Mike Sonko, he was able to pull up his party so fast. And of course, for you to register as opposition, it's so easy in Kenya. However, to register just a party that is not quite clear, unless it's a wheelbarrow party. What we currently know as wheelbarrow parties are parties working under the president to actually kind of dislocate. Remember, Kalonzo Musyoka is in the same area with Mike Sonko. So if Mike Sonko is going to stand up, he's going to destroy the votes from Ukambani. And that is a strategy that the president is really looking for. Or if not the president, his allies automatically. Now, when Mike Sonko comes up with a party and tries to register, and then he makes it so early, then he tells you that possibly he's working for the government. He might be a mole, In Kenya, if you want things to happen that will favor the government, of course you'll understand. Some people will be asking me why Mike Sonko would do this. Of course, Mike Sonko has a lot of assets. You know that he's one of the richest people. And that is why people call him Mike Sonko. Of course, Sonko is not his name. His name is Mike Mbuvi. But he was called Mike Sonko because he's so rich, sometimes he even kind of decides to just spend his money because of the kind of wealth that he has. And therefore, you see him registering a party. It's a strategy to make him remain in government so that he can protect his wealth. The rich have their own way of surviving. Me and you might not be really struggling to see to it that we maybe protect our wealth, because the wealth we have can be accounted for. But these people have so much wealth, some of it questionable. Of course, for years we've had people raising questions over Mike Sonko's wealth. Some of them indicating it's from syndicates, drug loads, and others indicating it's from money, wash, and so many other things. So, of course, he will struggle to maintain leadership, or rather power, and possibly be under the government all the time so that he can protect his wealth. Now, another person who is doing the same is actually Uhuru Kenyatta. And I will be just bringing to you the pictures Let me get to the charging point so that as I'm also airing, the same time my phone is charging. So you realize that somebody like I'm from to a different area that is so, there's a lot of light here, a lot of light. Yeah, so you realize that because of wealth, Uhuru Kenyatta is one person that cannot retire from politics. So many people might think that when someone was a president and leaves leadership, then they will no longer be interested in that. But you forget that for people who have wealth, they have all reasons to keep up with politics because they have to protect their wealth, they have to get connected, and that can easily make them remain in government because they want to make sure that when they have a problem, maybe stuck with let's say the NEMA or KPLC, KRA, among other organizations, they can simply call somebody, then they are attended to. So forget about these people walking out of government. Let me just put on my computer so that I'm able to do this as I air. The minimum time for this video will be 40 minutes, but if we make it, we'll take it to 1 hour. Of course, I need to do 2 videos during the day because in the evening, we have an extravagant performance and people will be dancing. So we'll be grabbing our dancing shoes and doing the tingle, okay? So let me just get to find a video to actually talk about this. And the reality is, if you have a comment in relation to this, please drop it in relation to what you think Matiang'I actually and MUNYA and Kalonzo are not, Mike Sonko, among others, represent. Yeah, meanwhile, you can be chatting on live chat as long as you maintain respect and as well like the video. Yeah, so give me some time so that I can get the video I'm supposed to show here. And I hope you had a nice day, being Independence Day in Kenya. I hope you're also enjoying and having the best of times possible. Not connected yet. What is happening with my phone? So today was our Independence Day, and I'm getting to that just in a meantime. So meanwhile, let me start with the first aspect I've already talked about here. Forgive me for not having been ready in time, because I didn't know that I can also do a live stream from here. I thought the light is just too much. The windows are big, and that's why I was pairing this. Look at the windows, guys. Yeah, so I was seeing those windows and I thought they're too big. But anyway, I think the lighting can allow me to do this from here. Yeah, so meanwhile, let's check on this video. I hope it will be clear to you and the lighting will not be affecting you. No, the network is too slow. Yeah, so let's look at this, guys. And I want you to tell me why Matiang'i would not turn in such a meeting that was conducted recently, and he would later on appear in a boardroom meeting. Because in politics, we actually analyze people both based on what they are doing. And I want us to look at this here. Yeah, you realize that this meeting over here, actually the opposition turned up in numbers, and Matiang'i was not there. Look at this.
On what ails our country so that we can get a solution.
So you realize there was a whole team, Oruaba, Matiang'i was not here, Kalonzo Musyoka was there, Eugene Wamalwa was there. I also wonder where Natembea was.
To focus on the real challenges that face this country, and those problems are real.
Okay, so I just wanted you to see this. When the opposition was holding a serious meeting to actually banker the government and remind them of what they need to do and what they are failed to do, Matiang'i did not turn up. He never turned up. But when it comes to other meetings, like there's a meeting here I want to show you, he seems to be sitting with Peter MUNYA. Let's just check to that video.
Hey guys, guess what? Kuja nimeshuku msapepeta. Leo wenda kujipita kozini stress one. Sasa wanamtafutanga lakini.
All right, right here. Yeah, so it is important that the opposition needs to reevaluate people like Matiang'i, MUNYA. Matiang'i is under UHURU Kenyatta, of course, in Jubilee Party. Then we have MUNYA, we have Mike Sonko, who is coming up. So let's just check into these people. Yeah, you see here, there's a picture here, okay? I hope you can see it clearly. That is Matiang'i with the old boys around him. And Peter MUNYA right there. So these people are sitting in a boardroom. We don't even know what they are discussing. We don't know whether they are discussing their own businesses. We don't understand whether they are actually focusing on shares and something like that. Then now look at UHURU Kenyatta also on the other end.
Now the reason I'm putting...
Now look at Peter MUNYA here. No, Mike Sonko first.
Kina Kagwe, Kina Kabogo, and so on and so forth, going into government, and he wants the same for himself. Number 3, we have Mike Sonko.
Yeah, so you look at Mike Sonko actually, you realize that recently able to register his party. And he did just quite fast, okay? He did that quite fast. Anyway, let's see what Ndindi Nyoro has to say. Let's see what Ndindi Nyoro has to say.
In fact, if you are a parent, you probably enjoy listening in to this. Roll the tape. Na ndio maana mimi unasikia nikisema, whatever it takes, kama mimi mbunge wa Kiharu, I'll do it to make sure there is no fees increment in January for these school learners in the entire of Kenya. Na mimi nataka niulize my colleagues, pia mnajua sasa bunge hakuna opposition in the real definition of it, because wale walichaguliwa upande wa serikali wa opposition haijulikani ni nani na ni nani, kwa sababu mnajua sasa kuna mipango ingine iliendelea. And I have said this, mimi kama bunge wa Kiharu, even if I'll be the only solitary voice in Kenya to stand for education and the right thing, I'll do it and pay the price.
Furniture in Nairobi and in the region, sawa sawa. So signage leo tunaendelea kuweka, tumefika kwa letter R ya furniture na huku ndani kunaendelea kazi. So not everything is complete, lakini hii nyumba we are launching it as it is. Tunaweka dirisha tukiwa ndani ya nyumba. But the furniture is very ready for you to come and shop. Mambo ingine tutadeal nayo baadaye. So I want to just show you around what we are doing here. So this is furniture that we are preparing for you to come and shop. Uende nayo usurprise wazazi wako ama ujisurprise kwa hiyo nyumba yako mpya ama the furniture that you wanted to replace. This is the furniture that we're supposed to put inside here. We've started the deco work. We're finishing on the glass.
Okay, so that's Morara Kebaso for you. Morara Kebaso actually stood out to fight for Kenyans, but when they decided to reject him, indicating he was a project, he walked away. Do you think this was the best way? Did he really have the interests of Kenyans at heart, or was he really pretending just for the matter of it? That's a question I'll drop to you as we go to check on other matters. And of course, we should be checking on the Independence Day and how it was. So let's see what happened as the, at Nyayo Stadium. That's where it was held. So many things happened. Captain Otoyo celebrating or actually entertaining the president. We had choirs, we had speeches. So we are going to pick some random aspects on Independence Day and share out here. Let's go for this.
Now I use Whisperflow. I just think out loud and it creates perfect formatted text on any Apple website. Whisperflow understood what...
Sasa akija kumwomba kwa heshima Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu wa majeshi yote ya ulinzi ruhusa ya kukagua gwaride lililoandaliwa na majeshi ya ulinzi ya Kenya. Asanteni kwa heshima, naomba tuketi tafadhali. Anayemsindikiza Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya ni Mkuu wa Majeshi ya Ulinzi
Jenerali Charles Mreu Kahariri.
Stop taking meeting notes
my
and let click
goodness.
AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings, not your...
Yeah, so guys, unlike Tanzania, which recently actually put people indoors, Kenya is a bit warmly and tolerant. So Independence Day has been celebrated today, even though we have a lot of questions surrounding the government and what they have not achieved. And of course, the president had to speak and give us a lot of hopes, but at the same time, he had to lie us, obvious. So let's get back to watch a speech in which the president gave. And what is your critiques against maybe the matching process as the president is moving from one place to another here? So let's get to check on that and see what is happening over here. So, of course, ODM has also been seen as being in shambles, but before that, let's just check on something else here. And of course, what I want to check on is the speech that the president gave today and some of the promises he offered to the people. And I really appreciate those who are subscribing to my channel. Currently, we are at 3,310 subscribers, and we look forward to having more people subscribing every day. We are already into 25 minutes, and we'll be going in for more. So thank you so much for keeping it real. Now let's listen to the speech that President Ruto gave.
Economic freedom. History itself could neither silence nor stop. Their sacrifice opened the path to self-rule. Their courage delivered the independence we celebrate today. And it is upon their shoulders that our republic stands strong. The architects of our nation overcame the trials of their time. While our challenges are different, their lesson is eternal. They rose to the dictates of their moment. It was not easy, but it was necessary. And because they did it, we are here today. So, today, fellow citizens, history turns its gaze upon us and asks, faced with the challenges of our time, have we stepped up as they did? When he took the oath of office, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta warned us that independence would mean nothing if it did not improve the daily lives of ordinary citizens.
Now, I really like that statement from the president's speech when he says that he was warned, or rather got that message that you cannot talk about independence without improving the lives of the people. I just wonder whether the president asks himself, whenever he's quoting the figures of growth of Kenya, whether he has really touched the lives of ordinary people. And for him, I guess, he's trying to think about housing and the roads and markets, and therefore saying that through markets he has touched maybe Mama Mboga, through housing he has touched the people who lived in slums, and through what he calls the roads he has enhanced the traveling easier for all people in the country. He also keeps talking about the aspect of what? Of universal health, and says that health has allowed those who have jobs to pay for those who don't have. Unfortunately, do the ordinary citizens feel it? Just like yesterday, the opposition was asking this question. That is the united opposition. Do the ordinary citizens themselves feel what the government is doing for them? Because sometimes it's good to do things for people, but ask yourself if they feel the importance of what you're doing to them. Don't just do it for the sake of it. But anyway, let's just check into what the president says again.
Reminded the nation that the greatest struggle, and indeed the hardest struggle, was not political independence alone, but development itself, the economic empowerment of our people, and the unlocking of their full potential. They stood and they understood that freedom was only the beginning, that the deeper battle would be against poverty that chains potential, against disease that steals opportunity, and against ignorance that dims human possibility. And so today, we are gathered to mark Jamhuri Day. We do more than remember history. We honor the architects of our nation for giving us the first great watershed period in our nation building, political independence. Just as the first generation rejected colonial domination and set out to confront the new enemies of poverty, disease, and ignorance in all
The new or old?
they discovered that independence did not amount to freedom in its full and fullest sense. Along independent Kenya's history, power became centralized, dissent was silenced, competition was crushed, fear replaced hope. Once again, however, Kenyans rose, and from their struggle emerged the agitation for democracy, human rights, and the rule of law.
Now again, when I listen to this part when the president says that after gaining independence, our newest enemies were lack of democracy, lack of justice, and illiteracy. Does he really focus towards making sure that citizens will no longer have a point at which kids will not go to school because they are lacking fee, and justice will not be observed because someone fears maybe that individuals are, doing more than what the government thinks? Will there be a moment whereby maybe we will have free environment where abductions, extrajudicial killings, and such environments are not available? He may not be the president doing this, but his allies are doing it. We've already heard from J.B. Muturi, among other people. So these are the questions we must keep raising all the time, because we get to hear on Independence Day and it reminds us of where we are coming from and where you are going to. Are we heading to the right direction, or are we getting lost somewhere? Those are the questions I need actually to raise as I keep listening to our president. Let's go on and listen to more that he said.
Darkest days when it was dangerous to speak, brave Kenyans spoke. When it was illegal to organize, courageous Kenyans organized. Students, clergy, lawyers, journalists, workers, and politicians stood firm against detention, against torture, against exile, and even death, so that Kenya could break and breathe again. This generation of courage produced towering figures whose sacrifice expanded the democratic space we enjoy today. Foremost among them was the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, a stalwart of our country's democratic journey, who left us just under 2 months ago. Raila devoted his life to the pursuit of freedom, justice, and peaceful coexistence.
What about you?
His courage, resilience, and unwavering belief in the power of the people shaped defining chapters of our national story and inspired generations to believe that change is possible. I now respectfully urge all of us to join me in observing a 1 minute of silence in honor and remembrance of the Honorable Raila Amolo.
Okay, guys. So there are people who said that the ghost of Raila Odinga will be here forever. And I really now begin to believe it. So it has become a political kind of umbrella to most politicians to use his name wherever they are speaking, to remind themselves about what he stood for as an enigma of who fought for democracy, justice, and the aspect of focusing ahead on change. However, my question still waves around. Why can't people practice the same? Like even our president, why can't he actually practice this democracy? The right and freedom for expression, so that we don't have a situation whereby Crime Act The Cybercrime Act should be there to protect and not to actually create kind of blockage towards what people want to say. All right? So it's good that they really have to recognize Raila Odinga all the time, and they are planning also to rename Talanta Stadium as Raila Odinga Stadium, which is okay. But now when it comes to the whatever he believed, do people practice this? Winnie Odinga asked questions around this yesterday, and I don't know how far people think about this matter, but anyway, it is what it is. Let's proceed.
Odinga and honor his sacrifice, service, and enduring legacy.
Acne prone skin, marks, new Garnier charcoal serum with 4% AHA, BH, and charcoal.
Tips and loans now follow need and merit, ensuring that every deserving student has a chance and a just and equal opportunity to pursue their dreams. Nearly 500,000 students have already benefited from this funding model. Students who under previous systems would have been excluded by policies that failed to recognize them. This reform has lifted the financial burden from families and enabled students to choose courses that align with their talents, with their aspirations, and with the needs of our nation. Our healthcare, we have another irrevocable decision that no Kenyan should be too poor to live. For decades, universal healthcare was spoken of, but in our time, it is being actualized. We engaged 110,000 community health promoters who are now reaching millions who were once excluded, forgotten, and without access to healthcare. CHPs have already visited over 9 million households, screening millions of Kenyans for various ailments, including diabetes and hypertension. At the same time, we built a unified health information system that now gives us full visibility of our health facilities, patients, their progress, enabling us to track healthcare delivery in real time. Today, over 28 million Kenyans are registered under the Social Health Authority.
Now guys, this is something that our president keeps talking about, and I ask myself, even though registration is there, do these people really access the services in the health headquarters or quarters whenever they need it? This is the question you must keep asking. Of course, people have registered and they need the services, but I've been in hospitals so many times and you find somebody stuck because they cannot actually pay for services. But our president has kept saying this. Is the problem the hospitals, or is the president actually lying to us? That is a question I keep asking. Maybe somebody should let me know. And let's proceed and get more into the gist of matters here. Then we are going to see the ODM in shambles.
Up dignity to millions. It has brought them back into the equation. They are no longer left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, these reforms have stabilized our economy, restored investor confidence, and enhanced Kenya's creditworthiness. As we set out on this path of economic independence, let us remember that we are not the first to stand at such a crossroads. Nations like South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia once stood where we stand.
Now, if you have been listening to our president for the longest time possible, you'll think he has rehearsed this speech. He always refers to Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, and Hong Kong. And of course, they are the most developed nations. I'm not so sure about whether our own country can really adopt what these 4 countries are doing, because from what he says, it looks like it's so easy to just adopt what these 4 countries have done and I don't just understand the magic behind his arguments. But anyways, if it can work, let it be. But then the burdening of citizens with the tax, that's our problem. Now let's get to how ODM is in the shambles, and maybe I'll just talk about it. Now guys, you've been hearing about Winnie Odinga's arguments. You also heard from Orengo. Orengo has also spoken a lot. And Amisi has also been another person who has spoken against the government. And of course, Osoti and Sifuna Babu are among those who are standing against what ODM says. So let's just check quickly into that and see whether we are going to see the working of these opposition units, or whether they are not going to really work as expected. So we're going to check into something right here. And remember, Babu Wina was supposed to launch a party, but I don't know why he didn't. So we need to check on it. Where is this? We left with about 9 or 5 minutes.
Ruto. Is Ruto that needs ODM? Kwa sababu in any legal framework, it's not the coalitions we made with Kibaki. It's not even equal to the handshake we did with UHURU, because there was some form of negotiations on BBI and other issues. Giving UHURU that position.
This blog, Tables like Energy SOP Wandai and Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga insist the party cannot allow symbolic appointments done without protocol. They argue any move by Winnie or Ruto must pass through Oburu Odinga, the party leader.
What Raila said before he died, that he left them in broad-based and they will remain in broad-based, and nobody has talked to us about broad-based. We were concerned.
The reformist camp, Winnie Odinga, Edwin Sifuna, Ruth Odinga, James Orengo, they argue ODM cannot survive by clinging to 2005 structures, move with the times, or be swallowed whole. The easiest faction that believes Winnie is Raila's natural successor, the only one with the courage to challenge Ruto openly, but the approach has created accusations of a
why he let some members join the government. He said, yes, I know it is uncomfortable to you for what you've done, but we were losing the country and the head
and lure more leaders into his stand.
All right, guys, so when you look into that, of course, you see a lot of factions. They might bring a split. And into our political analysis every day, as you check into it, you realize that there are going to be very fundamental divisions going forward. So whether we like it or not, in the argument that we are raising currently, the reality is that there is a split. And the crack is so big that it can be seen from a distance. However, there are people who continuously argue against it. But time will tell, of course. And very soon we'll be seeing that faction growing wider and maybe taller. All right, so thank you so much for having watched my channel, and bye-bye for now. I'll be getting to another live stream in the meantime. Let me switch to do another thing. Bye-bye.